talk about the 8-pointed Vairocana, sometimes called the 7-point Vairocana posture. So Vairocana is a Buddha, is an enlightened being, and the translation for Vairocana is Buddha appearances. It's a Buddha who emanates. Now all Buddhas emanate, we won't get into the detail of this, but what it's like, the idea of reaching a state where your mind has been cleared of all obstructions, where your mind has reached the ultimate nature of being. It is said that when you reach that state, you become a Buddha, and then your mind is so imbued with love for every single creature that as soon as somebody wants wisdom or calls for something, the Buddha appears to them instantaneously, almost against their will. So when you call them in meditation, they come. And they say it's like the moon being the Buddha, reflecting in every single body of water on the planet, from the most massive ocean to the tiniest lake to the drop in your eye. If there's a moon out, it is reflected involuntarily in every single body of water on the planet. Anything that's liquid will reflect the water, that will reflect the moon. And likewise, the Buddha emanates as answers to pleas or questions and teachings, because it's your mind that actually fixes things, and the Buddha, this thing we call Buddha, awake, reaches you if you're open to it in that same way. And it doesn't have to be a Buddha, it is that thing. So the Buddha named appearances is a special type of Buddha who chooses to emanate in whatever form is needed for you to take that next step. So when you sit next to a really angry, cranky old lady on the bus and she says something or hits you in the arm, that could be the Buddha named appearances touching your patience. It could be something like that. To think about it that way is helpful, number one, because you don't want to punch out the old lady, which would be a bad thing. But you can get to a point where you begin to have those experiences of real people around you. So the 8-point posture comes from the Buddha named appearances. And the first is to have your legs in the lotus posture. So we'll begin. So the first of the 8 points. So just say Chuki, Chu. Chuki, Chu. So that's Chu is Dharma, Gi is 8, Lu is body, and Chu is posture. I thought it was Dharma. Anyway, so it's
Dharma what?
Dharma 8 body posture.
8-point posture.
It's the 8-point Vairocana posture. Sometimes this teaching comes to you as 7 points, and the last point, the 8th point, so there's different commentaries. The 8th point is the breath. That's the only difference. That might be in your quiz at some point. So let's go to the first one. Please say after me, Kangpa. That means legs. Yeah, Kangpa means legs. Kil Trung. Kil Trung. Lotus posture. So it says your legs must be in the lotus posture. Ha! Just like mine, not. That's not true. I do not do lotus posture because otherwise I would die. Yeah. That's not true either. I don't know why I'm lying to you today. So there's a specific way that you should do this. Now, I am not a good demonstration, so I don't even do a half lotus posture because I've had knee surgery because I ran up the stairs, fell over and smashed my knee. So I could at some point have my right and left leg up. I couldn't be comfortable in a lotus posture for a long time, so I could do a half lotus, and that's fine. But it is important that your left leg is up first, and then your right if you're doing the full lotus. And for those of you who are yogi instructors, can you do that? Do you know how to do that? Can you show us? Because I don't know how to do it. I know you got jeans on. Full lotus?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how I would do it. I know. This is how I would do it. So left leg first, and then the right leg over your left thigh. See how easy it is? Why can't you all do it? What's wrong with you? Yeah. Can you do a half lotus with your left foot on the right thigh? Yeah. And when you do that, and sometimes I do the other, do it that way, you might need some cushioning on that side, so you're not doing that. The idea here is not to look like him just because he looks good, okay? It's not to be sitting there going, oh, look at me, I'm in full lotus. It's not the point. The point of meditation is to withdraw the senses. Yeah? Now, there's a reason that the more you practice, this will make more sense, and I can't talk about those reasons for now. But it is important that if you can habituate your body to do this thing, it will help you the more you progress in the depths of meditation. And the key to doing it is practice. So just sit for a little bit, try, do a few yoga stretches, open up your hips, go to somebody that's an expert, and try. But if you can't do it, just sit as comfortably as you can. Your bum should be more raised than the front of you, because what that does is it forces your back up, and we'll get to that in a second. That's another very important point of posture. So the base of you, if you can do a full lotus, good. If you can do a half lotus, okay. If you can't do that, if you've got some other issue, sit on a chair. Sit comfortably. The point is that you are not to be distracted by your body. But it also means don't be so lazy that you're not going to try and you're going to just go lay down somewhere. You've got to make some effort to get your body to be in a position that is so, and when you do get into a half lotus or into a full lotus if you can, it is so stabilizing that you don't even think about that part of you. That's what you want to do. You want to get to a point where your body is just sitting there, because you want to get rid of your awareness of your body. Yeah? So let me see what else I can tell you. The point is your back is straight. The half lotus is the left foot over the right, and that's really important. Yeah.
That was my question. How important is
It's
it?
very important. But I can't do it all the time. So,
Left and the right?
yeah. So your left foot on the right thigh. Yeah?
Okay. And then you put the right over?
And then you can have the right out a little, right?
But
No, or in.
so the right is on top, right?
Left
No,
side.
the
Left is on top of the right thigh.
If it's in half.
If it's half lotus.
Okay, what
How do you do
about
the full lotus? It's
left first as well, but then right. So
And then right.
So
left
and then right.
and then right like comes up on
Yeah.
the top. So right's on the very top,
How
but
come
left initiates.
Stretching in yoga is not part of the preliminary.
I don't know.
Is that a left right channels thing?
Yeah. Okay, so there's enough noise. Do we understand which foot goes up first? What?
Just left.
Correct.
Just left.
Did you like that I didn't say right? Because that would confuse everyone. I chose the word correct. So anyway. Okay, so say after me, mik mi, ye mi sum. So it's, did I do the right thing? I didn't do the right thing. No, I did do the right thing.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, not my two. Mik mi ye mi sum. Okay, so mik means I. Me, for those of you who know a little bit of Tibetan, what's me usually? What's ma? Ma
No.
at the end of things. Ma is female, good. What's me?
Masculine.
No?
Another
That's pa.
way of female.
Me is negative.
Oh.
Yeah? And it's not like a joke that the female ending and a negative is similar word or same word. It's not a joke like we would think it in the West. but me in this case means a negative, like a non, yeah, or not. Yeah is wide, and sum is far, yeah. So not too wide and not too far. Eyes not too closed and not too open. Hmm? Who said that cute? Is that very cute? Me, yeah, me sum. Okay. But here's the point of it, okay? Here's the point of it. Your body, ever since you've been birthed, has shut its eyes to do what?
Sleep.
Sleep. So you're going to sit there and you're going to go like that. What's your body going to do? Yeah? Especially if you're tired. Especially if you haven't exercised that muscle. So the monkey in there, if you've shut everything else down and your eyes are wide open, what's it going to do? Look out that window and go, check out her hair. Something, you know, it's going to just bring attention to something. So the point is not to give it enough colors and shape for the monkey to focus on anything. So not too close means close enough for you to get light in, but no shapes and color. So not too wide, not too close, but they are mostly closed. Yeah?
And do you do that? Do you do that? And if you do that, how long did it take you to get to the point
Great
where you
question.
could do that and actually focus on the object of meditation,
Yeah, good.
as opposed to focusing entirely where the only potential conceivable object of meditation
Yes.
is the actual eyes
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the attempt to
attempt.
do that.
That's a great question.
Okay, is that eye's going to start watering again?
Yeah, yeah,
Will I be
yeah.
able to hold it for longer this time than last time?
Wow, beautiful
And
question,
all
Mark.
that.
Yeah. It's so true though. It took me ages. It took me months, I have to say, to get used to the sitting posture for it to feel natural. Now I can't sit at home and meditate in any other way. My body's gotten used to it. And my eyes can't do anything else, but it took me a while to get used to it. Just like sitting, just like straightening, just like breathing, just like focusing, just like eyeing, it takes practice. We have this tendency in the West to get discouraged easily because everything is instant. You know, I want something, I can get it right now. It's instant. So I'm going to try and focus my eyes. I didn't do it, I'm angry. That's you know, this is the point of the course. The point of the course is life is different to instant. You slow it right down and then you can really see how instant can come. Because instant in this way is not satisfying. If it was, you wouldn't go to the next instant. I like that. Oh, check that out. Oh. Yeah? Okay, that feeling's gone. Oh, I like that. Oh, that feeling's gone. Hi, Mum? Oh, that feeling's gone. I wonder what the bank says. You know what? Those instants don't satisfy. But so you have to do something to stretch your rubber band, your practice, to get it to a habit that is self-sustaining. And closing your eyes is one of those. I saw Geshe Michael do this mudra with his eyes where he rolls them up, and it freaked me out at the beginning. You know? He's like, And I tried that for the beginning of my meditation practice, and it was so uncomfortable, but I figured if a special being on the planet can do that, something's going on. So I better copy, yeah? So that took longer to do. What they say is that your eyes should be not too shut so that you're closed, not too open, and allow yourself to practice. Do it for a minute, do it for 2 minutes, do it for 3 minutes, and it will come. It will become natural to you, especially if you find your seat and your back. They also say it should be about 45 degrees down, and that you should focus about 6 inches away. So not cross-eyed, yeah? So imagine you have a 6-inch nose, and you're looking at the tip of your nose there.
Is this with closed eyes though, or is it just a little bit open?
It's a little bit open enough to let light in.
So you
Yeah.
still see a light?
Yeah, you see a little bit of light come in. You just don't see shapes. So if you move your hands, maybe down here you could see them, yeah? And so that also tells you about how to set up the space in which you're going to meditate So don't put, so you know Tibetans love the busy. Yeah, don't put text down there or busy things. Plain cloth, like a white plain cloth would be brilliant, because then your monkey won't be searching for the line or the dot. You see what I mean? Once you get used to it and you go, okay, that's boring, that's 30 seconds. the monkey's going to go, oh, look at that, I can see the edge. Yeah. And then you're going to go, yeah, there it is. Gone. Yeah. So, it's so true. So 45 degrees, eyes unfocused. Yeah, so that's why you focus somewhere here. They're not going anywhere. So the white, if there is white down there, is fuzzy. It's fuzzy because you're half closed or more than half closed. It's also fuzzy. If you move your hand down there, you couldn't see it very clearly. Practice. Whatever you get right now, practice. Yeah? Okay, something plain, withdraw. The point is, what's the point of meditating? I'm going to do this for every one of the steps just to give you the heebie-jeebies.
Watch yourself.
What?
Watch your mind.
How do you do that? How do you get to your mind? Your mind has got a monkey in it.
Withdraw.
The monkey goes to what? To the 6 senses, right? Or 5 senses, whatever you want to call it. So you shut down the senses, right? It's withdrawal from the senses. So what's the eyes half shut doing? Withdrawing from sight. So you don't want to be looking at anything. That's it. That's the point. So play with the closed, yeah? Sometimes I tell you, when I try to break these rules, because if you don't try and break these rules by making mistakes, you're just always going to be bound by the direction rather than by your experience. So try and break them. Decide that you're going to have a really crappy meditation today, and you're going to keep your eyes wide open and stare. But then you'll know why the closing, it feels good. Try, yeah?
What if you can close and you don't fall asleep?
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. They actually say that if doing that is too distracting, just close them for a little bit, relax, see if you go in a little depth, and then just open them a tiny bit.
Can I ask about, because I was attracted to that when I saw Geshe-la do that for the first time with the flickering. Is that kind of like replicating the way that our seeds are ripening in that 65 per?
You know, I would love to go into a discussion on that. I'll give you the very simple theory, which has not come to me as teachings, okay? So it's just my theory. I never said, hey, Geshe-la.
Right.
There is this profound experience that beings can have in a life if they practice meditating well for 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and their mind gets to a point where, with enough virtue, with enough practice on the right things, you can see the code of reality, and that's seeing emptiness directly. I believe Geshe Michael Roach is triggering his inner things to recollect the time that his body-mind did that thing. In neuro-linguistic programming, you trigger memory by looking up. You go, oh, what was last week like? You go, oh. You know, so the eyeballs going back there does something to the brain to activate memory. Yeah. And up is for wisdom. When you want to get depressed, you go, oh, it was really sad. Yeah, so I think it's got something to do with that, but that's just my theory. Yeah. It wasn't a teaching. So I think that's what he's doing. Honestly, he's going, let's go back right there. Yeah, it's like, so the point is withdraw from the senses. Play with it, but be aware that your eyes should be roughly 45 degrees unfocused. Don't put busyness over there. Play with it open, closed. The point is that you don't have sight distracting your mind. It's not got that window to look through. Monkey, very lonely. Say Lu, Drangpo. So Lu is body, and Drangpo is straight or up straight. Drangpo, up straight. And what this means is your chest should be in one vertical plane. This is one of my meditation issues after a long time. I sit there for sometimes over an hour now, and I couldn't do 3 minutes at the beginning. Yeah, so I sit there like that, and gradually I go, That's not how you do it. It should be in a vertical plane. The point here is you imagine your vertebrae stacked like solid gold coins, one on top of the other. That's why I tried today to do that pulling up. So you imagine that there's a force pulling you up, like a string pulling you up, and that should keep you suspended there. There's also gravity that's keeping you grounded down here. Once you get that balance happening, it's actually quite beautiful. Another trick not to do that, which we'll get to later, is about the shoulders, your shoulders being back. So you see my hands are down here. We'll talk about that in a second. So number 3, Lu Drangpo, is about chest in one vertical plane. When you do lean, which you will, and allow yourself the space to do that, yeah, correct it very slowly. So don't go, better meditate. You've disrupted your mind, you see. If your awareness has come that your posture's not right, just allow it to do it naturally with the breath.
It happens to me sometimes that I haven't really realized that I'm hunching, and like there is like a physical reaction that pulls me back.
Use that to meditate on, and just very gradually bring it back up.
Right, the thing is that I don't get the chance to do it gradually, but because literally my body jumps back and it's like, oh, whoa.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Because at the moment you're doing that, you can correct that by saying, next time I catch myself, I better do it slowly. And this is what's going to happen. You're going to go, oh, next time I do that, they're going to go, oh! And then you go, next time I do it, right? So then next time you're probably not going to catch it, but at one point, if you keep focused on it, you'll go, oh, here it is. Let me see if I can do it. And so at some point you'll be able to manage that. It's important that you do. Yep.
I have the problem of leaning back.
Excellent. Don't do it. Yep. Same thing, because this is what one vertical thing is. Yeah, because what happens when your body's doing this? Right. Yeah. So thank you for that. Don't lean on anything. Try not to have don't have your back leaning on anything. The point here is that it's suspended and pulling up. All this is doing is creating your body, putting your body in a certain posture so internal things can happen. And I can't talk about all the internal things until you've actually got the experience of them. And you won't be able to learn about them until you get the experience of them. So all I'm asking is that if you want to learn to meditate in this method, which has progression upon progression of depth, practice getting your and a way of leaning back is also the seat, how high it is. I've got really tight, fat hamstrings, yeah, so I have to get a higher seat in order for me not to lean back too much. Yeah. So don't lean back, and except when you're in retreat. So if you're about to do a long retreat, and part of this meditation practice, albeit that you begin 3 minutes at a time, 5 minutes and so on, and gradually you build up to 6 minutes and 10 minutes a day, will be that hopefully at some point you'll get to meditate for 3 months or something, yeah, or a month somewhere. And in that case, you will want to create and put your meditation seat and cushion near a place where, let's say you do a half an hour meditation and you won't get up between sessions, you might just take a rest or a cup of tea, you want to lean back there. But you don't want to be getting up and walking around, and yeah. So in that case, be close enough to a place you can lean, and then whenever your body's distracting too much or you have to have a break, you can just lean back and then that's comfortable. Yeah. So that's Lu Drangpo. I think that's all I've got to say about that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time in history that we've kept to time. Trakpa Nyam. Is that what we're up to? Yeah. Woo-hoo! Shoulders level. What this means is that you shouldn't be like that or like that. Level that way. That's what it's talking about, right? But also this way and that way. Okay, so your shoulders should be level. Preferably, and it depends how short your arms are. If you're a monkey, they should be long. So, we'll talk about the hands in a second. The idea here is that you want your chest slightly open. Yeah? So that's why the hands are over here, or your hands are over here. Your hands are over here. So that helps your shoulders pull back. And I know that there's lots of things to focus on. If you've got a meditation practice, this is a way to perfect or play with your existing posture. If you don't have a meditation practice, it is paramount that you start off with all these things right in place, because whatever bad habit you've got now, and I've got a few, you'll grow them. And they'll be infinitely harder to get rid of later when you have to change them because the practice demands it of you. Yeah? Like the legs crossed, for example. Pull. Left. So your left shoulder's level, none higher than the other. The way to do that in the Tibetan things, and of course they all wear skirts. That's not a skirt, is it? It's called a robe. And so they have a place where they can put their hand over there, so it's not down here. So they put the left hand first, then the right hand on top of that, and the thumbs almost touching or touching. Yeah? And it's not forward, and it's not backwards, and because you're sitting somewhere there, see how that forces my shoulders up? Because I've got them on the belt line. Yeah? My thumbs are touching almost my navel. Yeah, are at the level of my navel. That's also got significance later on, and it has a special something. So left hand first. That, Martin, was really uncomfortable for me. Doing that hand thing was just weird for ages. But now I can't do it. I can't do this without feeling weird. The other point of this is that it keeps air circulating here, because you'll generate heat in meditating. Yeah.
Left hand on top or left hand first?
Left hand first.
Right hand on
Right hand on top, thumbs touching. They say that you should be able to put a piece of paper between the thing, but you're not that. Don't worry about it. Just now.
So same pattern as the legs.
Same pattern as the legs, yeah. Yeah, thank you. At the navel, elbows out a little bit. That gives you that balance of shoulder, yeah, which is, and it also helps you keep that strength, that height in your back. Don't move anything once the posture's there, no matter what itches. Okay, there.
Oh, that's so hard.
It's beautiful, actually. If you have been able to get to a point, okay, I've got the posture down. This is the first time I've got the whole posture down, right? And then you get an itch. Use that as a meditation, yeah? And push through it, because you can. You are not going to drop off and die because something's itching you, yeah? It's just a sensation. It depends on what kind of pain. Who said that? Yeah, it depends on what kind of pain. So if your knee's about to explode, don't let it get to that point, yeah? But if it's just like, I've got snot dribbling down and it feels uncomfortable, let it drop. Just, if you've ever read Salvador Dali's autobiography, I think he's got 7 pages of describing his snot dripping down as he's painting, you know. Oh no, it was his saliva. It was he's like, and I felt the dribble come down first of all on the guy wrote 7 pages of dribbling. Brilliant, yeah, brilliant focus, single-pointed concentration on the dribble. It is a method to get your monkey not to get distracted, yeah? So if it's saying, oh, look at the slime, look, I'm dribbling, oh, look at the itch, just, it wants you to go, I'm going to disrupt my meditation and scratch, or, oh, this hurts, yeah? Don't do it. Just go, hold on, monkey, I'll get to you in a minute, yeah? Watch the dribble, monkey. You know, and this is where you take control. This play with what your body is, what the mind is demanding of your body, the itch will go away, I guarantee it. Yeah? It's actually a beautiful thing. I know you're itching already just thinking that. It is doable. Left hand first, thumbs, don't move. Let the ceiling subside. You know, the Buddha, there's a story about the Buddha saying, you know, he tried all these methods to get to realization, to get enlightenment. And then at one point he says, that's it. I'm going to that tree and I'm sitting down and I'm not getting up until I get it. There's something in that. And that's the same about the itch, and that's the same about the dribble. Yeah? your mind will try and trick you, and then once you've figured out how to cope with the itch, it's going to say, hold on a minute, why don't you think of the past? You know, or something. Yeah? It will. So say, go mito mima. Go mito mima. Go is head, mito is not high, and mima is not down, not bent down. So what this means is just that let's say your chin is parallel to the ground. It's not too high, it's not too low, it's not to the left, it's not to the right, it's just, there it is. Some people say if you just push your chin a little bit in, you actually rest your cranium on, or whatever you call that spine, the spinal,
Cervical spine.
the cervical spine, that one, bloody English. They also say it should be in line, so it should be in a line with your navel. Not that it should be so far back, but that your nose should be in line with your navel. So that is parallel, your eyes are 45 degrees, yeah? Here is where you have to focus on relaxing the tension around your shoulders, yeah? Because if you're learning, you'll tend to do that. So the first few meditations, if you haven't got a daily practice on the posture. Focus on the posture. That's a good enough beginning. Cool, look at me. So chu, rang lok. So teeth, lips. So is teeth, chu is lips. Rang is natural, look is position. Look is position. All this means is when you're spaced out, your teeth are not quite touching. You're not clenching your teeth. And you're not open them up. They're just almost touching. Yeah? So teeth and lips, they're not closed. I ask you to just smile them a little bit at the edges, because that does something to the nostrils. But it's not like that would be weird, right? You walk into a whole Tibetan monastery and it's like not good. The point of that is to prevent excessive swallowing connected with the next one, which the next one is the tongue. So say che yasoi rangluk. And that means che is tongue, yasoi is top teeth, and rangluk is keeping that area. So keep your tongue in the area of your top teeth. And please don't think that you have to sit there and go, you don't have to force anything here. They're describing a natural posture of your lips, of your teeth, and of your tongue. If you're aware of how your mouth just naturally sits, is the tip of your tongue sits usually in a rested position somewhere where your teeth, the back of your top teeth meet your palate. So that's the skin, the skin, is that what it is? Meat. The meat and the teeth and the tongue. That's how I would have written it in Spanish. La carne, los dientes y... That would be the description. La carne, los dientes y la lengua. Thank you. That would be the Spanish translation. Say carne, dientes, lengua. Good. So keep the tongue in the area of the upper teeth. It's quite natural. What this will stop is your mouth from filling up with saliva, so you don't have the problem with Salvador Dali. What will happen is that saliva will just naturally flow. You won't have to swallow, because if you can get to a point, so after getting your posture right, if you can get a point of concentration where your senses are totally shut down and you're completely in the moment of whatever, we haven't even talked about what we're focusing on yet, right? We are in the moment of that thing, and it's complete silence, and it's just beautiful. It's just awareness. If you hear a big gulp of swallow, it totally lets the monkey loose. You know, it sends him searching for, what the hell was that? Oh, he must be thirsty. Have you thought of water lately? It's terrible. You don't want to do that. Yeah? So it's to prevent thirst. And well, say ook. Ook. This is probably one of the most important things, so the breath. Let me remove some myths. Meditating on your focus on the breath is not a meditation, okay? It is just a practice to shift your awareness from everyday thinking of busyness, Facebook, tweeting, etc., to where is my mind? So it's just a tool to say, oh, I'm thinking about all these things, so let's just think about one thing, and it's the breath. That's it. Okay, so there is no good result from meditating on the breath alone. It's not an object, a merit field like we talked about before, that has enough power or virtue. It's so neutral a thing that the result of a neutral a thing is a neutral a thing. Yeah? There's stories about that. So the source of the breath meditation is Master Vasubandhu. Do you remember who he was? He was the brother of Asanga. Their mother was a was, right? Naughty. And they lived around when? 350 AD. Fantastic. These creatures, these people, these beings are just like you. They learnt this for the first time at some point. They were born human, and then they had to learn these things. They put them into practice, and now we're talking about them because they taught how to do this properly. They're just like you. So they were able to. Anyway, Master Vasubandhu, shut up, Hector. He says that counting on the breath is extremely important, and here is something that it took me a while to do. The way to count the breath, and we do it at the beginning of meditation just to get into neutral, is that a breath out is 1, then you inhale, and then you exhale, it's 2, you inhale, and 3. So the out breath, the exhale, is what you're counting. It's not like 1, it's the opposite. It's like, I'm going to have snot for sure.
What's the reason for that? Because it's so counterintuitive.
Yeah, it is a little counterintuitive, right? There is. I can't talk about why. Yeah, shh. But when you get to it, just practice it that way. Yeah, it's funny because someone asked Geshe Michael, well, isn't the inward? Isn't your first breath the in breath? And he goes, I can't remember. Ask my mum. You're like, you're breathing continuously.
But it is.
Is it? Is it?
Take your breath.
Yeah.
You sure they don't exhale the snot first, which is an exhale, and then an inhale?
Because the lungs are filled.
They slap you on the back.
They say
Yeah? I don't know, but they say the scream is the big... We have that image in our mind. Regardless what we all know about that stuff, what the Tibetans are saying is count the exhale as 1. That's very important. Yeah? So the way I did it to start with is 1 and 2, 3, when you're counting, right? And try to focus on the breath to see how many you can count before the monkey goes off to focusing on something else. Yes, Daniel?
I'm confused. So I was always taught to focus inhale, exhale 1, but Geshe recently has been to his teachings, and he has you count after the inhale.
Still exhale 1, exhale 2.
Why is he doing it that way?
I don't know. We'll have to ask him.
He's counting the inhale, but he's still starting with an exhale.
Yeah.
So he's exhaling and then 1. So just counting on the end instead of the beginning.
It's still, the exhale is still 1. You need to do that. We can ask him.
I
Yeah?
think that's intuitive. You're saying that's counterintuitive?
Yeah. For me it was. Yeah.
Isn't it like a form of rebellion? Like no, I mean like seriously.
Yeah.
They say
Yeah.
they're rebelling against our last breath.
Our last
Yeah.
breath.
Outward.
Correct. But we'll get to that at another time. And we will. We'll get to it about another time. And there's reasons for it, and that's why I don't want to go too much into it. And also I'm running late now. But the counting exhale 1 is important. Also taught by Master Vasubandhu. A few important things. Your breath should be natural. It shouldn't be forced. And the more you get accustomed to your posture, the more you get accustomed to understanding who that creature is that is you, interpreting all these things. Once you've shut down the windows for the monkey and the monkey begins to settle down, and you see the nature of your mind, and you begin to see hints of the nature of your mind, your breath will naturally slow down. And like we did at the beginning of this meditation, you begin to feel that the breath is this continuous thing that is connecting you and that and you and that. It's like a mass of jello, if you like. And it'll go somewhere between 6 and more heartbeats between inhale and exhale. You won't even think about it, but it's quite natural. And you'll just be aware of it. And it'll, as you evolve, you'll also naturally slow it down, so not even the sound of the breath coming through your nostrils is audible, so you won't even feel that, and it will just be a natural response to focus and concentration and depth. And so if you want a marker on whether you're progressing, is whether you start like that and you end much more peaceful. So that's going to be a marker for you. Always through the nose, never through the mouth, unless of course there's some medical problem that you've got that week, and you know, then it's more important to do that. It's behind the counter. Yeah, it's behind the counter, both of them. Thank you. Seat, higher than the back. Kushka glass. All I want to leave you with is these are instructions for forcing this thing that you found yourself in to slow down enough so you can see what is causing your world. It is vital to your experience of life, and we don't give it a minute's thought. Challenge yourself, even if it's for 2 months or 3 months, to see if you can discover who it is that is inside there. And you will discover incredible things. You'll discover a flavor that is uniquely you. And if you can just do 3 minutes, 5 minutes, you will get to a rhythm inside your body where this thing is, you actually don't have to be told that it's valuable. It will color the day. It'll color the way. So whatever you do on the cushion will begin to imbue the way you treat your sister, the way you respond to a negative thing in the world, and it will be with a very different state of mind than you began. Nobody else holds that responsibility for understanding how you can impact the inertia that you're going to have to deal with in 5 years' time, 3 years' time, and 10 years' time. You've got the power to create your future in a very real way, not made up way. Whatever you do with your mind right now, understanding how it functions and what colors it, will definitely produce the filter with which you respond to your reality in the future. If we didn't believe that, we wouldn't send people to school. We wouldn't think that learning the ABCs would lead them to learn a language. We do that naturally. I'm talking about coloring your entire experience, understanding what it is that makes us be who we are, and step beyond the natural way of being to right here, right now, beneath all the stuff we see and touch and hear and feel. There is a magic available. Right now it's available in everything we experience, and the secret is your mind. Slowing down enough to find out how that works is the beginning seed to let you see that world. Right now, it's here. Some people are having a magnificent experience. Some people are bored. It's not coming from the thing. It's coming from the patterns in your mind. So may they land deeply inside of you. May you take it home to change your world and the ones of those you love. Let's do a closing chukimamuk. And what I want you to do here is imagine that any moment of hope or goodness for a perfect world, that it instantly lands upon as many people that need it right now on the planet.
Sashi
Puki Jushin Metotram Viralin Chin Inde Impadi Sange Shindu Mite Guargi Drokun Namda Shin La Chubarsho Yang Guru Ratna Mandala Kamilyatayami
Gewa
Digyogun Sunam Yeshe Soksoshin Sunam Yeshe Lejunwe Lambaguni Topasho. And remember the being that you left just at the crown of your head. Imagine them shrink down even smaller and enter the crown of your head and float down very slowly in front of your spine to a perfect place on a cushion at the level of your heart. Imagine a little ball as small as a pearl, but inside it's infinitely large, and it contains the potential for every goodness in your world and every understanding. So invite them there, make their home there. And when you're ready, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for teaching.
Did you want to make an announcement?
Yes,
Ladies and gentlemen, Sakura.
So this